aura side and also one of the top players.
Avishka was one of the consistent players when you look at the LPL, and someone missing with the national side. Well, this is another great opportunity for him to come out strong and to be in the white ball team.
Now Candy. Now Jaffna was the team. Jaffna, as we know, were the champions. Candy really ran them very, very close last year. And Mujibur Rahman, Vanidu Hasaranga, Fakar Saman and Angelo Matthews. How do you look at that combination? How do you look at those names? Mujib, very different player from Afghanistan, quickish leg spinner, one of the best in power plays when it comes to T20 cricket and 50-over cricket. Vanidu Hasaranga, he's Vanidu Hasaranga. He's a top player in the world. Then Fakar Saman, we spoke about the runs he made in the PSL. And Angelo Matthews, of course, carries tons and tons of experience.
So last year, actually, Candy, they were leading the table. Unfortunately, they could make it a winning side. As when you look at the side with Vanidu Hasaranga, top bowling, and against Angelo Matthews, the experienced player, and Fakar Saman. When you look at T20 cricket, we always talk about all-rounders, but once again, you have to have that top quality batters who can get that runs. Sometimes you don't have that big sixers, but make sure that you get that 10 overs, important runs without losing any wickets. So Fakar Saman have been making that for Pakistan, and also with his strike rate.
Right. Now, you spoke about all-rounders. Now, one of the all-rounders that is evergreen, that never grows old, is Shoaib Malik. He is so fit, and he plays around the world, and he's somebody who's figured for the Jaffna teams, that is the Jaffna Kings. And just look at his stats. The most experienced player in the world, 510 games, 12,000 plus runs, Malinder. That strike rate over 500 games is close to 130. And look at that. I mean, that is unbelievable stats.
First of all, we should congratulate him for his third performance and being a player for Jaffna this for last 3 years, and being who Shoaib Malik is. We have seen him with his bat, bowling, and also in the field. He doesn't look any different to some of the youngsters we see in the tournament. And as you mentioned, what a great player to have in your side.
Yeah, just very quickly, very, very quickly. Now, when you look at guys like Shoaib Malik, we look at some big names, Tisara Pereira, just to speak of. I mean, we talk of their experience. Just talk us through very quickly about how youngsters would start to benefit out of them.
As you mentioned, it's going to be a great asset for many Sri Lankans. We don't have that exposure, and this is the best and only opportunity for Sri Lankan players to have that experience.
So you think there should be that right kind of blend, that is the senior cricketers and also the younger ones?
Also, we have Sri Lankan seniors as well, and to have that experience from overseas players, that will bring some exposure.
Yeah, there is a lot of exposure that is going to happen to lots of young cricketers, as the auction is just a few minutes away, I must think. And we are all excited. We are looking forward to it. We're going to take a short break. Don't go too far away.
Check. Check.
Cricket world is on fire. The wicket's calling out to you. It's the sensation of the generation. Can you hear the lions roar? It's the battle of the champions. It's the glory of the nation.
Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and I welcome all of you to the inaugural player auction of the Lanka Premier League. My name is Ridhima Pathak, and I'll be your host for the day. Well, I'd like to extend a very, very warm welcome to the SLC President, Mr. Shami Silva, the two Vice Presidents of Sri Lanka Cricket, respectively, Dr. Jayant Dharmadasa and Ravin Vikramaratne, Honorary Secretary Mohan De Silva, the Tournament Director, Mr. Samantha Dodonvella, the CEO and founder of the IPG Group, the rights holder of the competition, Mr. Anil Mohan, the CEO of Sri Lanka Cricket, Mr. Ashley De Silva, the SLC office bearers, the executive committee, SLC management team, and the members of the franchise teams, the media, and all the distinguished guests present here. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure all of you are very well aware that the previous 3 editions we had a player draft with which we had players in each teams. But guess what? We've shifted gears from the 1st to the 5th, and we have arrived for the very first time in the history of the Lanka Premier League to the LPL auction 2023. Now, I can say this with a lot of confidence that the Lanka Premier League is all set to reach new benchmarks, given the kind of players that have been signed. International players and top players have their eyes and game set for the 4th edition of the Lanka Premier League. And I have to tell you that the LPL most definitely is a very important part of their cricketing calendar. Now, a total of 360 players, both capped and uncapped, registered for the 4th edition of the LPL. And I can say this again, with the fact that this is not just Sri Lanka's, but the world's top T20 league, for which everybody wants to obtain a place to play at. Now, the Lanka Premier League is truly becoming an international sporting event, and rather a sensation. And I have some numbers to back that. You see, the previous edition grabbed the eyeballs of 500 million people, that is combined digital, television, and print media. And not to forget, the wide exposure received by its commercial partners through its magnificence. Now that's the future. I have to take you back to the history. You see, this particular tournament has stood the test of time, whether the worldwide pandemic came in or the economic crisis in the country. And all credit to Sri Lanka Cricket Board for a commendable job done for the transformation of the LPL. And not just that, also its partners such as IPG stood by it like a rock. So congratulations. Now in this process, I have to say that a lot of sentiments of the LPL resonate with the sentiments and the attributes of its people, whether the fervor, the enthusiasm, the adrenaline, and more so, the attitude of making its comeback more stronger than its setback. LPL truly stands with its people. And hence, let me give you a glimpse of the evolution of LPL.
Take the catch. How good was that? A good piece of feeling. What a fight it needs to be. He takes the catch. Angelo Matthews makes no mistake. The Stallions have won the first Lanka Premier League. Oops. I think it's gone the distance. Oh, those Brathwaite's on fire. That's the win. That's the win for Jaffna. 2-3.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's give that a huge, huge round of applause. Well, those are the three additions, and I told you about the fervor, the enthusiasm, and the adrenaline. May I also please add the swag that Sri Lanka has, whether it's Malinga, Angelo Matthews, or whether it's Pathirana now. And with that, may I please call upon the tournament director to kindly say a few words. Mr. Samantha Dorunwela, sir, the stage is all yours.
Good afternoon and welcome to this historic event. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure and I'm extremely happy and proud to welcome all of you on behalf of Sri Lanka Cricket, its president and the executive committee to this inaugural player auction of the 4th edition of the Lanka Premier League 2023. This auction, which is conducted for the first time in Sri Lanka, will go down in history as the third such auction to be conducted by any T20 league in the world. I believe this is a significant achievement for a league that commenced 3 years ago with heavy challenges and obstacles. Nevertheless, the Lanka Premier League is continuing unhindered and is ready to conduct its 4th consecutive edition commencing on July 30th, 2023. The auction which is being conducted today is going to play a major role in deciding the quality of the upcoming edition, and the players you select today are the ones that will go onto the field and display the brand of T20 cricket, which has excitement, entertainment, and intense competition. The pre-signing stage has seen a huge success as the franchise teams have obtained the services of 20 top quality cricketers who have done well for their country or for other similar leagues in the world. This auction, I'm sure, will help the league to raise its quality of cricket as the teams will compete to attract the best talent, and the best talent will also get the opportunity of displaying their capabilities. Each team will bring in a sum of $500,000 for the auction and will pick both capped and uncapped players starting from multiples of base prices. The auction has a list of 362 players going under the hammer today, while 50 sets of players consisting of international top 20 T20 leagues, first-class cricketers and emerging young cricketers will go under the hammer during today's auction. We also see the presence of the franchise owners. Some are the pre-signed players, coaching staff, and the management of respective franchise teams here to get the ball rolling. I take this opportunity to thank Mr. Shammi Silva, the President of Sri Lanka Cricket, for his unstinted guidance and directions given to us on this effort. I also wish to thank the Executive Committee of Sri Lanka Cricket at this moment for support and assistance. Let me also convey my sincere gratitude to IPG, the rights holder of this tournament, franchise owners. A very big thank you to them for placing confidence and faith on this league, and also the other stakeholders and the players, including the media, for coming forward to make this event a success. I would also like to welcome the auctioneer of our inaugural auction, Mr. Charu Sharma, a familiar name in the cricketing field and especially in the cricketing in the Lanka Premier League circle, who has conducted player drafts in the previous editions. In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, please enjoy the proceedings of the auctions and the rest of the evening. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Dorunwela. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, since we've spoken about the IPG group, please welcome the founder and CEO of IPG, Mr. Anil Mohan, to kindly say a few words on this very, very special occasion.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Lanka Premier League Auction Season 4. I hope you are having a great time. Today, we are making history by hosting the first ever Sri Lanka Premier League Auction Season 4. This event would have been possible without the blessing of Mr. Shammi De Silva, President of SLC, Vice President Mr. Jayam Dantasa, Mr. Ravin Ratne, Secretary Mr. Mohan De Silva, and rest of the Executive Committee. I would like to thank S.C. De Silva, CEO, and his very capable team, which includes Mr. Upul Bandara, Mr. Chantaka Edrimane, and Mr. Travis Fernando, and rest of the staff. I would also like to thank Mr. Samantha Dodavale, our dynamic tournament director, and his team, who work very closely with IPG. This event would have been possible without my team at the IPG group, especially Shriram Aaron for a fantastic job. Thanks to team owners. It's indeed a privilege having you. I also welcome the local and international media who has always been supported for Lanka Premier League. I am certain that we can make this Lanka Premier League a grand success. Once again, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Have a great evening. Best wishes to the teams. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Anil Mohan. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, before we go ahead, I have to tell you all and give you a quick brief of the pre-signing. Now, all of you are aware that $1 million was signed to each and every team, out of which $500K has been spent in the pre-signing. Let me quickly give you a quick brief. Well, with the Colombo Strikers, we've got the Pakistan batting sensation Babar Azam. Along with that, they have a potent pace attack with Naseem Shah, who's the current heartthrob of Pakistan. The former and the evergreen are sitting right here on this table, Mr. Wasim Akram. And with that, we also have Pathirana, the baby Malinga, and Chamika Karuna Ratne, the all-rounder from Sri Lanka. Then coming out to Dambula Ora, we've got the Aussie batter wicketkeeper Matthew Wade, and of course the Sri Lankan wicketkeeper batter Kusal Mendes, and Lungingiri, the tall, imposing paceman from South Africa. They also have Avishka Fernando, the 25-year-old bruising right-hander. Now, moving on to the Jaffna Kings, the defending champions, the champions in all three editions. They've got the killer Miller, David Miller. They also have Rahmanullah Gurbaz, the wicketkeeper batter from Afghanistan. They've got the captain, Thassera Pereira, of course, a veteran in this shortest format of the game. And they've got Theeksana, the spinner, who's had a stellar IPL under Chennai Super Kings. Coming out of MSD's captaincy is going to turn out very handy. Let's move on to Beloved Candy. Well, they've got Fakhar Zaman, the explosive left-hander from Pakistan. They've got Angelo Matthews, the former skipper of Sri Lanka and the T20 explosive. They've got Vanindu Hasaranga, plays for RCB in the IPL, all-rounder from Sri Lanka. And they've got Mujibur Rahman, a complete package from Afghanistan, the mystery spinner. They also have Goal Titans. Coming to Goal Titans, they've got Tabraiz Shamsi, from South Africa, the left arm leggy, impressive with his variations. They've got Bhanuka Rajapaksha, who plays for Punjab Kings in the IPL. Again, an attacking left-hander. They've got Dasun Shanaka, current captain of Sri Lanka. And of course, explosive middle order. Along with that, right arm seamer. And moving on to Shakib Al Hassan, the skipper of the Bangladesh team. Now, that's a quick brief of the pre-signing, and that's how, as far the teams stand, they've got another 500K that needs to be spent today in the auction. But before we get there, let's get back to the studios to Roshan to tell us, now that we've got a glimpse of the pre-signing here and the icon players, how do you make a balanced team?
It's the question. We've seen the icon players, we've seen some potential names, we've heard, but Malinta, how do you make a balanced team? Now, we've seen some names, but what is the formula?
Yeah, most of the time that we always think about many all-rounders. That's what T20 cricket is all about. But
Now let me stop you. Now, 20 players, they can get 20 players, 6 foreign players, 14 local players. That's the combination, or that's the blend. But if you look at 20 players, how many batters do you think you will pick?
you can definitely have 8 to 10 batters, plus 2 wicket keepers. Probably you can see these days that all wicket keepers are batters. So that's the advantage that we have. Then you will have a couple of all-rounders, seamers, spinners. You have enough of players, Roshan. You have 20.
I know. Now let's talk about the type of players. Now, we speak about these X-factor players, isn't it? Now, Matisha Patirana is an X-factor player, very much like Lasith Malinga. We talk of Mahesh Theekshan, another X-factor player. We talk of the wrist spinners. How important are they in the T20 format, especially the wrist spinners? I mean, when you look at Wanindu Hasaranga, we look at Rashid Khan, though I don't think he's here, but Tabrez Shamsi, some of these names. But if you look at overall around the world, wrist spinners, X-factor bowlers.
Yeah, these days, when you look at any white ball cricket team, that you will have definitely a wrist spinner or 2. Sometimes you will have 2 in your side. So, and that's why Sri Lanka have picked Wanindu Hasaranga and Dushan Hemanta with the national side. So that's just an example. And fast bowlers, Matisha Patirana, we've seen him done really well with the T20 cricket. So definitely you will have to have 1 or 2 players, the names of Patirana.
Now, this time, we're going to have 2 venues. We're going to have Colombo, that's the R. Premadasa International Stadium. That's not a strange place for you. You played there, you coached there. And we also have the Pallekele International Stadium up in Kandy. Now, when you look at these 2 venues, what type, now let's take off R. Premadasa. Now, what's the type of player you would want to have in your side when you're playing at R. Premadasa?
Definitely you will want to have an all-rounder.
Okay.
Can bat.
Seamer or a spinner?
Definitely you will have a spinner, because when you start the tournament in Colombo, and this is what happened last year also, Roshan, we started in Hambantota, very good wickets, and when you came back to Colombo, it was a little bit slow. So that's the only reason that you will have to have a specialized spinner in your side. But other than that, there's nothing deep, because we don't have any matches these days in Sri Lanka. So that's another option, that we will have some fresh wickets. But when it comes to our Premadasa, will have a little bit of a spinner as advantage.
Yeah, so you think this is something that is common just for the LPL, or is it the norm when it comes to all leagues? That I mean, a wrist spinner or spinners?
That's depend on where you play, with the type of wickets you play. Especially in Sri Lanka, you will definitely go with that extra spinner.
What about Pallekele? You think Pallekele would be more seam-oriented, pace-oriented, being a little bit more cooler as far as the climate is concerned?
Yeah, definitely Pallekele will have some